Let's say you've just watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie and you're wondering how similar it is to the actual Mario games. What characters and locations were created for the movie? Are any aspects of the world portrayed any differently? If you're new to the Mario series, all of this is probably a mystery to you, so I'll be going over many of the differences between Nintendo's Mario games and Illumination's first Mario film. I did make 2 videos about this before, but they were mostly an excuse to talk about Mario lore, and I was aiming to convince people that the movie is its own separate continuity. But I don't think that needs to be proven anymore. It's kind of obvious now, especially with what we've seen from the Mario Galaxy movie. I want to start fresh and take a more focused approach with this video. It'll be a lot more like a lightning round. But before I get started, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is the tale of Mario's first adventure. You know what else is called Super Mario Bros. And features the tale of Mario's first adventure? Super Mario Bros. So I think it's important to explain the basic plots of each, as they both share very little in common. In the game Super Mario Bros., Bowser, King of the Koopas, invades the Mushroom Kingdom and turns the Mushroom people into stones, bricks, and horsetail plants. He then kidnaps their ruler, Princess Peach, as she's the only one who can break his curse. Peach's mushroom retainers are also captured, and it is a common belief that Toad is one of those retainers. Bowser takes Peach to one of 8 castles he's built in the kingdom and locks the retainers in the remaining 7. A plumber named Mario hears of the Mushroom Kingdom's plight and sets out with his brother Luigi to save the day. They make their way to each of the castles to take Bowser down, but one after another, each Bowser they fight turns out to be a fake, and the princess is in another castle. Finally, Mario defeats the real Bowser and sets Peach free, presumably breaking the curse on the Mushroom people. I'm gonna assume you've seen the film, so I won't go into too much detail, but in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the basic scenario is that Bowser has stolen the Superstar. He is intending on marrying Peach and taking over the world, and he's going to use the star as an engagement gift. The Mario Bros. Stumble into this world with Luigi in enemy territory and Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom. Peach, Mario, and Toad go to the Jungle Kingdom to recruit the Kong army and then rush back to the Mushroom Kingdom to stop Bowser. You can probably tell that the scenarios of both Super Mario Bros. Are quite different from each other. The game takes place fully within the Mushroom Kingdom. The film takes place mostly outside of it. The game is about going to castles and saving Peach. The film is about recruiting gorillas and saving Luigi. The game's Bowser takes over and curses the kingdom. The film's Bowser steals a star to marry a princess. It doesn't really take much to see how these adventures aren't very alike. Now that that's out of the way, here's how this video is gonna work. I'll go through each scene in order and explain the main differences between the film and the games, point out ideas unique to the film, and take note of a few miscellaneous details. At the end, I'll briefly talk about how the character personalities differ from the games, and then we'll be done. Some details I'll be avoiding in this video are things that are technically unknown. An example of one unknown involves the Mario Kart elements of the film. The first few Mario Kart games exclusively used pipe frame karts, but the movie uses fancy karts like the modern games do, with anti-gravity, gliders, and everything else. But is this really a continuity error? While fancy karts weren't used in the earliest Mario Kart tournaments, they could have still existed outside of that. If you're interested in more technicalities like this, you can watch my past 2 videos. Another aspect I will be avoiding is Mario and Pauline's involvement in the Donkey Kong series. The recent Donkey Kong Bonanza game introduces details that have been left up to interpretation for now, so it's best to just ignore those for this video. If you'd like to hear my personal thoughts on the situation, you can watch my Pauline Bananza Theories video. Finally, I won't be focusing upon design details like outfits or character designs. With the disclaimers out of the way, let's begin. Scene 1, the Snow Kingdom. This is the Snow Kingdom, which is the site of Shiveria in Super Mario Odyssey. This penguin settlement is a new film original location. These are supposed to be adult penguins, but they're the size that baby penguins are in the games. The Penguin King is a film original character. The way the superstar is described implies that there is only one of them in the world. Meanwhile, there are countless superstars across the Mario games. Scene 2. Pizzeria and Brooklyn Sprint. The Mario Bros. Plumbing business specializes in small service jobs on sinks and whatnot. In the games, the bros are shown to work on larger pipes in seemingly construction areas. This is even reflected by the concept art that Nintendo provided for the film. This woman is a film original character, as are virtually all of the background characters in the Brooklyn scenes. This is Giuseppe, and he's an original character based on Mario's first appearance in the Donkey Kong arcade game. Mario and Luigi live in a human city prior to moving to the Mushroom Kingdom. This is true in the games as well, but while the movie has the bros' home in Brooklyn, New York, the games imply otherwise. Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, has noted in interviews how Mario was created to be from New York, but that concept was never mentioned in the games themselves and was phased out over time. The city in the games was eventually shown to be on the same planet as the Mushroom Kingdom. It was referred to as Big City in the Donkey Kong Game Boy game, and Donkey Kong Land, where it was also called Big Ape City. In Super Mario Odyssey, it received the name New Donk City. It's a mega city that spans an entire Metro Kingdom, and would go on to get expanded upon in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Furthermore, the Yoshi's Island games show that Mario and Luigi were born in the Mushroom Kingdom, where they lived while they were babies, as backed up by Mario and Luigi partners in time. At some point, they moved to the city, which is likely where they grew up. To summarize, movie Mario grew up in Brooklyn on Earth, while game Mario was born in the Mushroom Kingdom and grew up in the Metro Kingdom. Note: you may not recognize Spike, but he's from an old game called Wrecking Crew. He's made a few small appearances over the years, but he's relatively obscure. Throughout the film, Mario calls Luigi by the nickname Lou. In the games, if Mario isn't calling him Luigi, he's calling him Ouija or Bro. Scene 3. Francis. Francis, the dog, is a film original character. Scene 4. Family Dinner. Mario and Luigi have a large family. All we've ever seen in the games is a brief glimpse of Mario's parents at the end of Yoshi's New Island. Note: the movie's family designs are based on old concept sketches provided to Illumination by Nintendo, but we don't know how many of the family members were included in these sketches, just that the dad's design is pretty spot on. I'd imagine that most of them were invented just for the film. Mario hates mushrooms, which is not accurate to the games, where he loves mushrooms. Pauline is the mayor of New York City, but in Super Mario Odyssey, she is the mayor of New Donk City, and she's actually old friends with Mario. Scene 5. Saving Brooklyn. Entering a warp pipe takes you to a dimension full of jet streams. The only time we've seen the warp dimension in the games is in Super Mario 3D World, where it has a roughly similar appearance. The main difference is that instead of jet streams, the pipe just continues to its destination. You can only see the warp dimension because they travel through a clear warp pipe. Any other time we've seen the inside of a warp pipe, the pipe was a solid color. Scene 6. Mushroom Arrival. Scene 7. The Darklands. These bats originate from the Mario Galaxy games, where they appear exclusively in other galaxies. Luigi lands in the Darklands, and it's kinda complicated what the Darklands even are. All we know is that they're under Bowser's control, he's got minions patrolling the territory, and there's a singular rundown fortress. It's possible that it's an adaptation of Dark Land from Super Mario Bros. 3, but since the name is different, it could be a film original location. I'm actually considering making a separate video about the Darklands, cause I do think there's an interesting discussion to be had. But for the sake of this video, we'll just consider it a new film original location. Scene 8. Toad Town Tour. This is Toad Town, which has had many different designs over the years, but the film's version is unique in that it's a huge, bustling city. All the games versions are more like quaint villages. In the background, you can see a Crazy Cap store. This is a clothing shop in Super Mario Odyssey that originated in the Metro Kingdom. But with the Metro Kingdom not existing on the movie's planet, Crazy Cap had to have originated elsewhere. And speaking of the planet, Scene 9. Mushroom Council. We see a map of the planet, which features the Mushroom Kingdom, Sand Kingdom, Jungle Kingdom, Snow Kingdom, the Darklands, and what is presumably where the Yoshis live. Most games tend to have abstracted maps that only showcase relevant locations, but the similar map in Donkey Kong's house seems to imply that these kingdoms are the only ones on the planet. This means several locations from across the series are not present in the film's world, but perhaps they exist as other galaxies instead. This is the Mushroom Council, which is potentially the film's take on Peach's mushroom retainers. This important blue glasses toad is a film original character. Peach is not familiar with humans and is seemingly the only human on the planet. In the games, there are countless humans, even if the Mushroom Kingdom has quite few. Scene 10. Training Montage. Super mushrooms make you bigger and stronger. This is how they used to work in the original Super Mario Bros., but this is no longer the case. In various games, being damaged can turn you into a smaller version of yourself. Super mushrooms merely heal you after you've been damaged. Scene 11. Bowser's Rave. Note: the movie's take on Bowser's Castle is a giant floating fortress that, to me, feels most similar to its appearance in the modern Paper Mario games. Bowser has feelings for Princess Peach. In the games, Bowser hadn't shown signs of feelings for Peach until Super Mario RPG. His earlier kidnapping seemed to have just been so he could take over the Mushroom Kingdom. Scene 12. Luigi is captured. Scene 13. Travel Montage. Peach meets Toad for the first time, but as I mentioned earlier, it's possible that Toad was one of Peach's mushroom retainers in the game. Note: this location is likely based on Bob-omb Battlefield from Super Mario 64. Note: this bridge seems to be a reference to the bridge levels from Super Mario 3D Land specifically. The Sand Kingdom contains stone eye statues from New Super Mario Bros. U's Layer Cake Desert, which is in the Mushroom Kingdom. They are not present in Super Mario Odyssey. Note: this jungle area is probably either Dinosaur Land and/or Yoshi's Island, and likely to be the landmass I pointed out on the map earlier. For years I've assumed they were merging these locations with the Cascade Kingdom from Mario Odyssey due to the Fossil Falls pin found on Toad's backpack. But our looks at the Mario Galaxy movie have proved me wrong. Note: this montage ends in the Mushroom Kingdom's Rock Candy Mines, also from New Super Mario Bros. U. Scene 14. Peaches. Bowser sings and plays a beautiful song about Peach. In Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, Bowser claims to be tone deaf, so he probably can't sing that well. A couple times throughout the film, Bowser refers to Peach as Peaches, just like in the song. Similar to Mario calling Luigi Lou, this is not something he does in the games. Scene 15. Fireflower Fields. This Fireflower Field is an original location created for the film. Peach's backstory is that she is from another world and stumbled into the Mushroom Kingdom as a baby. She was raised by toads and eventually crowned the princess. In the games, we don't know much about her backstory, but she was born a princess and is probably from a long line of human rulers. In fact, Rosalina is most likely a relative of her royal ancestors. I'm sure we'll learn more about the film's version of the backstory in the Mario Galaxy movie. Scene 16. Interrogation. Luma-Lee is an original character created for the film. His design is based off of the shop Lumas from the Galaxy games. The name Luma-Lee comes from a jingle that each shop Luma would sing. Luma-Lee, Luma Bop, welcome to the Luma Shop. Even though they were never given an official English name, licensed material called them Luma-Lee after the jingle. The movie also uses this name, but he has nothing to do with the Luma shops. Note: interestingly, this film original character has since been adapted into the games. The Switch release of Super Mario Galaxy 2 received an in-game storybook that tells the story of two twin Luma sisters, Lou and Mari. Luma-Lee? Mari is clearly based on Luma-Lee and even makes a little reference to the film, saying she remembers being locked in a cage. Mari's personality is similar to Luma-Lee's, but it's much less of a joke and more relevant to the lore surrounding Lumas in the games. Scene 17. The Jungle Kingdom. The Jungle Kingdom is a unique location created for the film, meant to be a replacement for DK Island from the games. Every location in this kingdom was either invented for the film or looks wildly different from their game counterparts. All the Kong homes sit on boardwalks. In the game, DK's treehouse is always on land. Carts seem to be a very popular mode of transport, but Kongs mostly use barrel transport in the games. There are also minecart systems, a zeppelin, funky's flights, basically anything but carts. Note: many existing Kongs appear as cameos here, including Swanky, Diddy, Dixie, Chunky, and Funky Kong. But the majority of Kongs are brand new creations for the film. The Donkey Kong game suggests that there are actually very few Kongs living on the island. They're a pretty tight-knit crew. The Kong army also does not exist in the games, with the DK crew being the main defenders of the island. Cranky Kong is a king, but not in the games. He's just that know-it-all grumpy old guy. Cranky is also DK's dad in the film. In games, he's always been DK's grandpa instead, with the only exception being Donkey Kong 64's English script, which has since been ignored by games like Donkey Kong Country Returns. The building where Cranky's throne sits is an original location for the film, and it's probably based on the real-life Donkey Kong Country Park at Universal Studios' Super Nintendo World in Osaka and Orlando. Note: both the theme park and the film's Golden Monkey set piece are based on the ending of the final level of Donkey Kong Country Returns, which takes place in an alternate dimension within the Golden Temple. Wow, that was a mouthful. Scene 18, Ring of Kong. The Ring of Kong is a film original location. The mini mushroom seems to be less of a power-up and more of a power-down, but it has numerous positive effects in the games, allowing you to run up walls and even across water. The catsuit seems to power Mario up far more than the actual catsuits in Super Mario 3D World. Throughout the film, there's a lot of terminology that is different from the games, such as blocks being called boxes, or the spiny shell being referred to as a blue shell. Scene 19, DK's house, and carts. All the carts used in the film are fully unique designs and don't exist in any Mario Kart games. The Kong's carts in the movie world are fueled by bananas, and Bowser's carts are fueled by lava. The games seem to use other types of fuel. Scene 20, Proposal Rehearsal. Scene 21, Rainbow Road Rage. This iteration of Rainbow Road is fully unique to the movie and acts as a bridge between the jungle and mushroom kingdoms. Each Mario Kart game has a different Rainbow Road with a different design and location, so it was cool to see the movie take a stab at making its own. Princess Peach implies that all turtles are evil in her world. In the games, the turtle-like Koopas are not all evil. We know many friendly members across several games. The Koopa General that sacrifices himself to defeat Mario is an original character for the film. The spiny shells in Mario Kart do not have Koopa Troopas inside. The spiny shell's explosion destroys a section of Rainbow Road, which means it's probably not the best place for racing in a Mario Kart tournament. Note: this is a Mare, an eel originally known as Unagi. An iconic one debuted in Super Mario 64, but giant ones closer to the film's depiction have appeared in New Super Mario Bros. And Mario Kart 8. Scene 22, Peach returns home. Scene 23, Cage update. Scene 24, Belly of the Beast. Scene 25, Royal Wedding. DK's fire form has red as its dominant color instead of white, as implied by Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. Fire Toad's palette in 3D World doesn't match that game either, so this may be a retcon. Similar to the catsuit, the Tanuki suit powers Mario up a lot more. It seems to grant infinite flight, and while flying, the tail spins around like a helicopter instead of flapping up and down. King Bob-omb has a fuse. He doesn't in the games. Scene 26, Brooklyn returns. Scene 27, Saving Brooklyn. Alongside invincibility, the Superstar grants Mario and Luigi super strength and the ability to jump up super high, high up in the sky. In the games, not only does it have more limited powers, it also lasts for a far shorter duration. Scene 28, The Super Mario Bros. Scene 29, Wake Up in the Morning. Mario and Luigi move to the center of Toad Town in a small mushroom house. Mario's house, shown in games like Mario RPG and Paper Mario, is typically depicted as being at least a walking distance away from Toad Town and in a fairly humble, non-mushroom house. Scene 30. Credits. Scene 31. Peach's Encore. Scene 32. Yoshi. We see Yoshi after the credits, but that leads into the Super Mario Galaxy movie. After the film releases and I can buy a digital copy, I'll make another video just like this to show off everything that differs from that film as well. But that's about it for the original film, except for character personalities, which I'll get into now. I could talk forever about character personalities, but I'll try to keep it short. The directors of the film said that the Mario characters don't have personalities, but that's just untrue. The problem is that the exact personality of the characters is a little hard to pin down if you haven't played the right games. Many of the mainstream Mario games don't highlight certain characters enough for you to get a good grasp on what kind of people they are. And even then, the way they act isn't 100% unchanging across games. Anyway, here's my assessment. Mario is pretty accurate, but he's a little too cocky and rude. Luigi is also pretty accurate, but he's maybe more optimistic in the film. Toad seems to be mostly accurate in terms of personality. The one thing is that his design features a backpack like Captain Toad's, who is a separate character in the games and who has his own unique personality. Peach is one of the more different portrayals. She's much more girly and bubbly in the games. And maybe the movie's version is too, but the role they gave her doesn't give those elements any room to appear. Both Peaches are strong fighters, but the film's version focuses on that element more, while the games tend to focus on her wits and kindness instead. Donkey Kong is kind of weird because, similar to Peach, he's put in a fairly unique situation, being a rival to Mario. DK and Mario don't really have any beef in the games. I'd imagine this was an attempt to merge the modern DK with the classic arcade DK, who is stated to be a younger Cranky Kong in various games. DK's show-offy ego seems to be calling back to the classic Rare titles, but it's not very present in more recent games. Cranky Kong's role is so incredibly different that it's hard to really even say anything. He's basically a different character. But I do think his personality was fine. Kamek isn't really a yes man in the games, or a hype man. He'll always do what Bowser says, he raised him and he cares deeply for him, but he's gonna try to be sensible when he's advising him. There's no blind adoration in the games. Bowser is the most different, in my opinion. He's very careless with life in the film, willing to sacrifice and kill dozens of people. The fact he thought that would impress Peach also shows how dense he is. The game's Bowser hates Mario and would probably kill him if he got angry enough, but Bowser just isn't really a killer. He is willing to do all sorts of evil things like cursing people or doing literal terrorism, but he never plans to kill anyone. And some of those sacrifice-ees in the film are his own minions, which is also uncharacteristic. The relationship between Bowser and his minions is incredibly strong, and Bowser is actually very forgiving of them. He wouldn't take his anger out on them for no reason. While I do take issue with the claim that Mario characters don't have defined personalities, I don't think it's a bad thing that the characters are so different. It's interesting to see how Illumination has adapted these characters for their own stories, and it also helps separate the film from the continuity of the games. I just want you guys to know how different some of them are in the games. So, now you know most of the differences between the Mario games and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I hope now you have a better understanding of both worlds. Leave a comment with any questions and I'll try to answer the best I can. Once again, I'll definitely be making a video like this for the Mario Galaxy movie later this year. And perhaps I'll make something like a discussion video right after I see the film so I can explain some of the interesting lore decisions and whatnot. That's about it. Bye-bye.